broadcast network, Afterbuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. Afterbuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akaman. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Ultimate Fighter, Season 21. We are now at Episode 9 of the season. I'm Suri Serano. Very excited to have our special guest fighter, Kamaru Usman, joining us here shortly. And let me first introduce you to my co-hosts, who are fantastic. Mr.
Jared Gilkerson.
Yes.
I'll interrupt you. Welcome, everyone, to the greatest show ever. I'm just doing my best LeBron.
Yes. Get out. We love
Bonanza,
it.
we got you beat.
Yes. Introduce yourself, Jay.
Everybody. J-Tan.
He has to say his name twice. Hi, I'm Alexis
that's so
Torres.
nice. I say it twice.
Alexis Torres, good to see you. How's everybody feeling?
Good? Yeah.
Especially after this fight.
Right?
I think so. For
Yeah.
me, I just told you before the show started, it was my favorite fight of the season. I know. I think
agree
some of
with
us. You do.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think it was
Yes.
the best. Although the winner was pretty clear cut, it was
Yep.
probably the best effort back and forth, or at least one of the top three, I think, of the of what we've seen so far.
What
a
impressed-
solid match.
What impressed you most about Kamaru Usman, Black Zilians, winning this fight?
That he won this fight.
No, just that.
Really?
Two in a row. He looked great.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's the one fighter, maybe not the one fighter on the Black Zilians, but the one that's out of all of them that's really come out and just I can tell that he is a fighter. He's calm, he's cool and collected, and probably listen to me as I compliment him because he's amazing.
And driving.
And he's driving. Wow, there he is. Welcome, Kamaru. It's great to see
Don't
you.
Skype and drive.
Yeah, you are Skyping driving here, son?
This is completely dangerous right now, and I'm blaming it on you guys.
What?
Surrey. It's all Surrey.
It's
all her fault.
apparently it's my fault.
Ticket is on you,
You know
if
what?
it happens.
He strikes me as a ringleader, so.
Yeah, you got it right.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your obviously busy schedule since, I think we might have lost you.
10 and 2.
No, we got him.
Technical.
Just give me 1 second.
Okay, no problem.
Jinx.
We can't see you, but we're talking to you. Anyway, thank you again for taking time to speak with us about this week's episode and your fight. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can definitely hear you.
Okay, there you are. We can see you
Nice.
now. So, Jay,
Excellent fight.
what do you have for Kamaru?
Question-wise, or are we
Sure,
gonna,
dig in.
I think we should talk about the match. Obviously, Kamaru knows the match very well. Between talking
he
about
was
it
there.
yesterday and living it and all. But again, I thought Kamaru won 18-20, both rounds straightforward across the board. I thought this match in general delivered the most action that we've seen so far
I
to the
agree.
show. It was Kamaru versus Steve Carl, and Steve Carl once again had issues making weight, just barely, but by the hair of his chinny chin, or the hair of his hair, as it were. Shave that thing off, you'd get rid of another pound for
No,
sure.
apparently he just has to take off his shorts to make weight.
Yeah, that. But he was in it. I mean, Kamaru was owning him and you looked perfect in the match. You were composed and had everything under control. Didn't really look like you were in trouble at any point throughout. But that said, to Steve's credit, I think he was trying, as much as he couldn't get an upper hand, he was trying and was staying in and still getting out of bad positions, trying to impose some kind of will of his own.
Yeah. Dana White had said that, it was the first punch Kamaru that took Steve's mind out of it. Do you agree with him?
You know what? I do. I do, we've all heard that saying, everybody has a plan until they get hit in the face.
Oh, yeah.
and it's, I think that was definitely important. But what, Steve is a seasoned veteran. I mean, that guy is a professional, true professional. He knows what he's doing. And so, he knows how to fight. He's got over 25 plus fights. He knows how to fight. And what I primarily didn't like is how they made it look like oh, he didn't make weight again. You know, I mean, he made weight. He got on the scale. He was a little heavy. He took his shorts off, and he made it right then and there. You know, it wasn't like, okay, well, I need to go use the sauna for an hour like the first time and come back and made weight. He made weight just fine the way he could have made weight. You know, now during the fight, I think definitely once the fight took place, and I think I got comfortable a lot faster than he did. He was still trying to find the rhythm, and I just wouldn't let him find the rhythm. I was just a couple of steps ahead of him. Besides that, I think that was definitely the biggest key in the fight.
Well, we're talking about that first shot you landed, that jab. It was obviously a right-handed jab because you came out southpaw. So yeah. I wanted to is that something you do very often? I know that you've had 6 professional fights before the show. How often do you like to switch it up against your opponents? Now I switch it up all the time. Yeah, initially it was something that I kind of wanted to play with because certain things in that, certain weapons in that stance work a lot better than in my orthodox stance, in my regular stance. And so it was something that I kind of wanted to, I've been playing with a lot, and I've been getting more and more comfortable with it to where you might see more of that. Well, which weapons work better off of southpaw? You just want me to spill it all right now. That's all right. We can keep a few secrets until the end if you'd like. Yeah, let's keep a few. All right. And also, I noticed between rounds, I mean, the first round, I mean, you dominated the first round. You had a few takedowns. Your strikes were much cleaner. His were a lot more looping. Now that we're still talking about you being southpaw, Carl tried to flip it and do the same thing to you. So did you expect him to do that, and did it throw you off in any way? No, I expected it. Like, he's been doing that for years. He does actually switch stance, and he does. To be honest with you, if you look down the roster of every guy on the show, Steve is the most accomplished guy on the show, 100%. He would be the front runner in anybody's book to win the show, 100%. Former world champion, has beaten current guys, not just beaten, finished current guys that are high up in the UFC right now. And so he's a guy that, of course, they felt like we can put him in whenever we wanted, and he's going to go out there and definitely deliver for us and get us that win. And so I think that was probably one of the big reasons why they put him in. And, you know, not to mention, in his first fight, he was doing okay until he got finished. And so, you know, the coaches were feeling like, okay, maybe his head just wasn't in there, and that's why he got caught and finished, which I don't think he got caught. But, you know, maybe they trusted him and they went with him again. But it was just, you know, a wrong matchup for him, I think. Mr. White has said that he doesn't think he's UFC material. Do you agree? No, I disagree. I mean, Dana is Dana. He has his opinion, and he's going to say what he wants to say. But Steve Carr is a seasoned veteran. He's a true professional, and I definitely think he has wins over guys in the UFC right now, and I think he would beat a lot of guys in the UFC right now. And so, yeah, just because he had two. And in this show, it's completely different. It's not, okay, I'm going to go out like a normal fight and strategize for a 3-round fight to where I can slowly beat a guy up until I break him in the 3rd round. It's not that at all. This is 2 rounds for you to go balls to the wall and put it all together. And, you know, unfortunately, he came out on the short end of the stick, but I definitely think that, you know, if he gets it together, he definitely belongs and can get in the UFC. It looked like your conditioning for this fight was excellent, and it looks like Steve was sucking wind pretty early. So I guess it's kind of a 2-parter. How do you get your conditioning up so well? There's so many of the Black Zilians of the conditioning, in my opinion, and on television, it looks so much better. And I also noticed that you don't sit between rounds. So does that play into it? My conditioning is just something that, you know, even while wrestling in college, is just something that I got to a certain point to where when I decided to make a conscious effort to become or to want to be the best at whatever I was doing, I wanted to make sure I had no other factors that I could control be the factors that hinder me from becoming the best at it. And conditioning was one of them. There was a year that I was wrestling. I started the season kind of early, doing the same thing that everybody was doing, and I was getting mediocre results like everybody was getting.
And I was like, why am I getting tired, and what is the reason? What can I change? And conditioning was one of them. And so I always got up every morning and I put in extra work and did extra work. And so when he came in that time to where both guys were tired, I knew I did extra work. And so in my mind, I'm fresh. And that's kind of what this, what happened in this show. It was nothing for me. I like to push myself beyond the limit to where I know once it got scary in the fight, it's not going to be a problem for me.
Speaking of training, I noticed we all did, obviously, mocap training, which is quite interesting, and I loved it personally. I think I even tweeted about it. I felt it was really cool and awesome that they were doing that. What's your take on it? Have you found it helpful, or is it just kind of show?
On the what?
The motion capture training.
I was wondering what that was too.
It's called mocap, guys.
I forgot the lingo. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was in the same grade. All right, Alexis.
Talking about.
What sponsor was that?
Come on there. Feel it and pound down.
Them bubbles. Them bubbles training.
Do you find it helps or not?
At that time, to be honest with you, at that time, doing the mocap for that instant moment, it's something that obviously, it couldn't have been that much help at that very moment. It's something that I believe you have to kind of utilize with time. And so as time goes on, let's say you have a fight 5 months down the line, it's something that you can start utilizing from when you sign that fight 5 months down the line, so you can monitor your progress. And it could be a very helpful tool for our coaches to evaluate where you are and how correctly you're doing some of the techniques that they're teaching. And so, yeah, it definitely could be a big help down the line.
Is it something you guys utilize often, or is that for the show?
It's something that, we are starting to utilize often, definitely. And that's the thing. And Glenn, our manager, Glenn Robinson, is just, he's so passionate about the sport and our team to where he always wants to make sure that we have the top equipment that can definitely get us all to that goal of being the best in the world. And so whenever he sees something, he's like, oh my God, this would be great for our gym. He takes advantage of it.
I love that, personally. I don't know about you guys.
I think it's cool to, it's, kind of progressive, forward-thinking stuff. I don't know how many gyms can actually implement and use stuff like that, because I don't, Brazilians is...
a lot of money.
Black Zilians, is probably one of the more better established gyms with enough funding, behind it in the U.S. They're probably top 5 or 7 or so throughout the entire country.
But I feel
Let's just say number 1.
I agree. Number
you
1.
Do?
Oh, hell yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
This is news to me, Jared.
I'm not just pandering. Come on now. They're dominating. And they always have more forward-thinking methods. And they've shown it on this show. And it's an ATT kind of looks a little archaic. But I know that you had something.
I mean, that's actually what I wanted to talk about and get your views on it, Kamaru, was that the fact that I feel like Black Zilians, as much as it seems kind of flashy in that kind of aspect, I feel like it's a good way to use new technology or anything that's coming up that to any way to help your technique. I know that, my dad is also a boxer as well. He always sees it as you need to be in the gym every day. You need to just, grind. But to us who've been, a little bit younger or whatever, if you want to call it, that we feel like we use like video cameras, we use our iPads, we use any type of technique, watching YouTube videos, whatever, that can help. We use a lot of technology. So I just wanted to know if you think, I know that you were using it, but, if classic training seems more effective, or it's a good way to just take in the new technology little by little.
It's a great question. I'm a hard-headed, old-fashioned guy as well. I like to do it, go grind, go just grind my body to the ground. But with time, you have to evolve. The world is evolving each and every day. And it would be silly for me to want to train like they did back in the 80s when they weren't able to record and video practice to know what errors they were making, to rapidly correct those errors. And so that's just a little piece of technology that's improving. Yes, now we've even gone state of the art, so we could have the motion caption cameras to definitely help us a lot more. But technology is a great and wonderful tool, and you just you got to evolve with the times, and I think that's a huge tool to utilize. But I'm all for the grind as well. But you kind of have to mix it up. This is mixed martial arts, so.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's very Rocky IV, Dolph Lundgren.
That's just how
like anytime when I saw them bust it out, I'm like, oh, cool. Like they're gonna show like the real cheesy computer animation. But I'm like, no, this is legit. It's cool. It's like a video game. It's just like the same thing they do.
Well, another thing that cameras definitely were very helpful for in this match was apparently we could see that Kamaru wasn't grabbing the cage, but apparently
They were yelling that he was.
Actually both rounds they were just on top of him. How did you feel about? I don't know if you rewatched the episode at any point in time, but rewatching the fact that watching ATT get on you about grabbing the cage.
Yeah, I watched it over and over. I'm a person who I love to watch my fights and pick out what I did wrong and what I did right and how I can improve. And so, yes, I heard him screaming that. See, where that stems from is my first fight. They felt that I was grabbing the cage because when I have a guy up against the cage, his back is against the cage. And I'm obviously not, my back is not against the cage. And my hand's resting on the cage while I'm going to work. And so they felt that, I was grabbing the cage to keep the guy there. I don't need to grab the cage to keep the guy there. I'm in an offensive position and they're in a defensive position. So I think every time my hand even just touched the cage, laid up against the cage, they were screaming it. But, the video speaks for itself.
You think they were playing mind games on you there, or the referee, or was that literally like the angle that they saw? It looked like you were grabbing the cage.
I think it might have been the angle that they saw, but I didn't care. I was in the zone. I was doing my thing, so I wasn't worried about them.
He didn't even come close to grabbing it. I think they were trying to draw on the drama from last week. With all the cage grabs and everything. So, what are you laughing at, man?
I just love
fair point.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. It's just it's really funny because you're very keen on finding reality TV drama. It's great.
Well, that's why.
Alexa, I love that you just called him out on that.
Yes. I mean, I'm on top of you with the Bud Lights and the Harley stuff, but it's just really funny how you're like that's the first thing that you like grab on.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm leaving here today. I'm gonna have a Bud Light and hit the road.
As you shave with a big Gillette, right?
Yes. Grab a nos. No.
Stop. Oh my God.
We just want to you want to take care of some business?
Yes.
We love our fans.
Yes.
We love when we hear from you.
Yes, we do.
Now we have a new way for them to all speak up. It's podcast1.com. Check it out. Hit the banner. What is that? The top right-hand corner of the banner?
Something like that.
And give us your thoughts and rate the show. We love to hear from you. Only takes a couple minutes to do. It's podcast1.com. Check it out. And we love our fans.
And sometimes I know a lot of people can't find the link for just Afterbuzz shows or even just the survey in general. I can tweet it out after the end of the show if you can't find
excellent.
it.
Thanks, Alexis.
Yeah.
They can tell us how good the Black Zilians are doing and how much they look. How much step above ATT right now.
By the way, this includes you, Kamaru.
Yeah.
You're subject to doing the survey as well.
I will be following up with you on that.
Because you haven't really done enough for us already. Coming on twice and spending like an hour with us, show and prove a little bit. Why don't you, man?
Any way I can help.
My man.
Always good.
I wanted to touch on that topic was the fact it's not a question. I just wanted to put my opinion out there that, even though, yes, we are interviewing Kamaru right now, I feel like, to be honest, I feel like Black Zilians just as a team is just very open-minded with their techniques and their training and all that kind of stuff. I feel like as I almost said it. ATT is, I feel like at least from what I'm seeing, maybe that's just editing or anything like that. The fact that they were telling Carl to be like, just neck and back every single time. I just feel like sometimes with their training, it's just blinders on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'm glad you caught that. That was a big thing too that surprised me because of course I lived it, but you don't get to see what they're doing in their gym at certain times, and so it was a shock for me to see that on the episode, the way they treated that fight. This guy was a former world champion last year, lost to a guy who is known, is world famous for the technique that he caught Steve with. So it wasn't like he went out there and got beat for the title. He just got caught with the same thing that the guy does better than anybody else in the world. And for them to just be telling him, oh, well, basically they told him you don't have a chance. Let's try to look for his neck and back, basically. Because they even said it, we didn't go out there to look for expect a decision. We just was hoping that he would catch a neck or back.
Like, when you say that to a former world champion, you basically just told him you suck and please just try to catch him. and that was something that was very surprising to me for him going into the fight. He didn't feel like he could win.
Do you think that they, going back to your fight against Jose Caceres, he was a big guy, he was 6'2". Do you think and then you were choked out in that fight. Do you think they just kind of stuck to, okay, here's the one fight he's lost as a pro. Here's what you need to do, and you're great at it. Do you think that's why they focused on that?
Well, let's be 100% honest. That he wasn't that big. Yes, he was taller than me, but he wasn't that big. It was something that I had been. That was me training. I think maybe 8 months of me training, and part of that training was mostly all of that training was stand-up training, learning how to kick correctly. I just came from wrestling at the Olympic Training Center to MMA. Now I'm getting punched in the face, and I had one fight quick, and was successful in that fight. And then I'm starting to continue to progress on how to punch, and that was my fault. I wasn't focusing a lot on the groundwork, all the different techniques that it took to be on the ground. Of course, I knew I could take anybody down when I wanted to take them down, but I wasn't working specifically on that. I got caught I made a basic error, and I got caught. If you even watch that fight, I went in with a 1-2, hit him. I took him down literally maybe in 15 seconds of being in the fight, as easy as it could be. Probably the easiest takedown I've ever gotten. Got on top, mounted him, full mount right away, elbow, and he caught me. He was funky. He was tall. He was funky, and he hit me with the funk and caught me. And I would beat the living breaks off of that dude if we fought now. Terribly.
So size doesn't worry you at all? Because
No,
I've noticed the past couple of guys you fought professionally are 5'7" and 5'6". You handled them pretty well. And I just didn't know if anyone was, there are plenty of guys that are in the UFC top 10 that are, there's Condit, who's tall, and there's Neil Magny, and, who is it, Hyung Kim. They're all above 6 foot, and I know that's still kind of rare for welterweights to be, that tall and lanky. But so the height doesn't bother you at all?
Oh, no, it just makes them easier for me to take down. I can get to their legs a lot easier.
Well said.
That's actually the first thing I thought of is if they're tall, it's just you got to go for the knees. That's where they're weak.
True.
That's the mixed bag where the taller guy is going to have more length, obviously, and striking distance, but at the same time more susceptible for a takedown.
I just think of him as like a giant
True,
tree.
but I have incredibly long arms for my size.
That is also true.
If you, I think I'm sitting at about a 77.5 inch reach, and so I make up for a lot of that with my arm lengths.
With that, and also especially with your pedigree of wrestling, to the degree that you've trained on the mat, that certainly you've got that much more ability to deal with lankier guys. I'm sure you've trained with a lot of lankier guys in the wrestling room.
Yes, definitely.
To that end, I want to switch directions here just briefly. Last night I caught up on the U.S. World Team Trials that was on ESPN. Did you get a chance to watch that, or are you keeping up with wrestling this year?
Unfortunately, I did not get a chance to watch it, but I want to say probably 85% of the World Team members are my friends. I know them. I've talked to some of them. Someone even texted me after this fight. Travell Delognev, the heavyweight, that made his 5th world team. Mm-hmm. Me and him were teammates in college. And so, I know a lot of those guys. I wrestled with them for a couple of years on the international scene. Sure. Although I wasn't there, I didn't get to see it. I pretty much knew who was going to make the world team.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Because obviously Jordan Burroughs is having certainly a high point in his career right now, coming off his gold medal, and then this year is just killing it. He finished his guy. He teched his guy, won by maximum points in about 30 seconds, less than a minute, I believe. And I've seen a couple of his matches this year, just obviously undeniably impressive. Somebody like him, or is there anybody else on the world team that you think would make a good transition to MMA? Or can you give us any hints who's talking about it? Because now it's become...
To be honest with you, those guys... This is the thing with wrestling. Wrestling it's a profession that, kind of like fighting. You get into it not expecting to make. It's not about the money right away. You don't expect the money because there is no money at the bottom right away. You actually lose money in some of the fights if you really think about it. And those wrestling is kind of one of those sports that it's a tough man deal. We do it for the glory of it and wanting to be the best on the planet at something. And so those guys they're doing it, and right now they're at the top of it. And so I don't see any of them right away wanting to switch to MMA because they're exactly where they need to be. This is something they've worked their whole lives for, and now they're there. And so I don't see a lot of them wanting to come to MMA, but if they wanted to make the transition, I think every guy, I would say the top 2 in each weight class can make a transition and definitely be competitive in MMA.
Do you think that it's the transition, dealing with the striking, and especially the nature of not wanting to be on your back versus it being okay to be on your back in the in MMA? Do you think that that's a difficult one for a lot of them to make, or was it easy for you, or difficult, or somewhere in the middle?
It was a good question. It's definitely difficult. It's difficult because wrestling, you got to be in a dominant position the whole match, and that's what we're taught, and that's what we're trained how to do. And so jiu-jitsu is kind of like the counter for that. I want to it's almost like playing possum a little bit, but I give this and I take away this. I give this, take away this, and I catch you with that. I set traps and then I catch you with something. And so that's definitely weird and awkward for us wrestlers coming into MMA because we're used to go and to break a guy. And so that's definitely a tough transition. And the striking aspect as well. It's not so much of striking and punching something, because everybody loves to punch something. Everybody loves it. But it's how you react after you've been punched. And that's something that takes a while to deal with and get used to, because a lot of people don't know how to react to that. I've just come from wrestling and taking guys down, and now I'm getting punched. And how do I react to getting punched?
Sure.
Well, that's something he's transitioned. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
And you transitioned well because all of your professional wins have come by TKO. Mm-hmm. So are you surprised, I guess, at your own... you haven't submitted anybody. So why do you think that you're knocking so many guys out? You have a huge wrestling background. A lot of guys with wrestling backgrounds will take the fight to the distance, win on the ground, win against the cage. So why do you think that your transition has been so seamless to this point?
It's because of the team that I'm on. The way if you guys saw our practice, it's a pay-per-view fight in here every damn sparring session. You look down the roster: Michael Johnson, Abel Trujillo. These are all guys who love to put hands on guys. Gilbert Durinho. We have Eddie Alvarez in the room. It's just so many guys. And Anthony. It's a pay-per-view fight every time when Anthony Johnson is in here sparring. And so we just get used to that. And it's just a style that we train and we're taught by our striking coach, Henry Hoof. And we go and we break guys and get punched and we walk right through it and we just keep going. And so I think it was just being built into that mentality early on, starting the career, is just something that has kind of carried me to where, being punched now doesn't really bother me. Of course, nobody likes to get hit, but it doesn't bother me as much, and I know how to react if I do get hit.
Jay, did you say uh-oh because you're thinking AKA?
Yeah. Don't tell us, man, that you're doing this. Well, I suppose I'll phrase it like this. I'm glad you guys are doing the motion capture stuff, because that tells me you're forward thinking and not so much totally stuck in the Stone Age with the AKA pound the hell out of each other in sparring practice thing. I pray that that's the thing. Go easy on your guys. I'm trying to see Rashad come back before fall. I'm really rooting for that. I forget, is Alistair on the shelf for the injury? I've lost track there.
Oh, Alistair is no longer part of our team.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll move on from that. But I'm definitely still trying to see Rashad. I don't want to hear you guys get on the shelf, on the injury shelf there. But it's funny because you do what you're talking about here. You got Eddie Alvarez, Michael Johnson rising pretty fast through the ranks, and I'm also thinking about Rashad, Vitor as well, of course. You guys with the Black Zilians, one thing that's always struck me from what I've read and know of you guys is the presence of Dutch kickboxing. For a lot of fans in kickboxing and Muay Thai, there's kind of two of the most predominant styles are Thailand, Thai boxing, which involves knees and elbows. Elbows which fly and cut the head.
Let's do a demonstration.
Yeah, like that.
In the studio.
I like that bad Beastie Boys video.
Yeah.
Oh,
He can't see it. He cannot see this.
It's a good
you'll
thing.
see it later.
So there's Thai style and then Dutch kickboxing, which one thing I think is fascinating is what I want to lead to asking you, Kamaru, is the Thai generally are smaller people, lighter weights, and so they're also comparatively...
It's his daughter.
Okay.
Thought it was our producer.
She's a Dutch fan.
I was going to say, like that Thai boxer right there. So a little bit faster, different technique, whereas Thai boxers... The matches, I believe, are also timed differently, different round times and things like that. And because they're bigger people, it's different weapons and different ways of using those weapons. So to that end, Kamaru's Dutch kickboxing, has that really lent itself well to you guys in terms of applying it towards MMA, or am I barking up the wrong tree with that?
It has, definitely.
Yeah.
I believe they like to do it hard. The way they punch hard, kick hard, and put a lot of forward pressure. And that is something that, excuse me here.
That's a good reality
No, it's
moment.
good. It's real life.
That is something that our coach, Henry Hoof, kind of instilled in us is how to, when you do it hard. Even if you miss a punch or you punch something wrong, you punch hard and you kick hard. And it's definitely different than, Thai guys. They like to kind of sit there, stay, and land a precise knee or an elbow or strikes of that nature. But, yeah, it's something that Henry Hoof definitely has gone over with us. And, everyone just kind of took it on. And it meshed well with us.
Speaking of hard training, what's your injury status right now? Are you healthy? Or do you have anything that you're dealing with?
Oh, I mean... I'm a fighter. You always got something you're dealing with, but I'm definitely healthy, definitely healthy enough to fight if I need to jump in and fight at any time. So.
Our girl is spying for the other team.
No, she's not. Don't say that.
That's not true.
She's texting Ricardo Laborio after the show here.
Oh, am I? Stop. Don't believe it.
I heard they're still using payphones over there. So.
Touche.
Speaking of the training that Jay was actually talking about, was the pool scene was actually really intriguing to me. It was because I've seen a few of my friends who are actively trying to get into fighting that a lot of their trainers are having them do, especially now that it's hot, especially here in California. They're doing a lot of pool training, which I thought was strange at first, but it kind of makes sense because of the weight of the water and learning
resistance training,
especially with the Dutch type of kickboxing, you have to punch hard, so punching with the resistance of water is hard, but it makes sense. So I wanted to get your standpoint. I don't know if that was the first time that you've actually been in the swimming pool and did that, or if that was something you guys do all the time.
Me personally, I do it all the time.
Okay.
And it's something that it helps with everything from footwork, from just movement, and also punch control, which is the biggest thing. A lot of guys, you watch a lot of these fights and guys just swing for the fences and they don't actually get that punch there at the right time and with the right amount of control. So one, you're not gassed out from swinging for the fences all the time. It helps a lot. And it was something that we utilized during the show, and it's, I do it all the time in training.
And they're punching out, floaties in the pool. And,
Those are so funny. Well, because I wanted to start doing that because my father also wants me to work on that as well since I'm getting back into training anyway. So I saw that and I was like, oh, my dad was onto something. So just curious.
He can teach you something.
Yeah, I mean, he can. I just like that he's finding new ways to teach his students. So I thought that was interesting.
You're all for it, Jay.
Hell yeah, I love being in the pool. That's cool. I like the water.
He usually has little floaties on and he's just going at it.
Jay, I have to see this.
And there's some cut. No, you don't want to see it. I didn't say that. I won't go that far, but I like being in the pool. And there's,
you
of
with
course,
floaties would be amazing.
a nice 12-pack of Bud Light on the side, the towels by NOS Energy Drink.
Kamaru, they are obsessed with all of the advertising. Jared can't, he always has something to say
it's,
about it.
What goes better with your breakfast than, than with a couple of Bud Lights on the table. I love it. That gets me going in the morning. But I had one more big question for Kamaru. You said you could fight anytime, no matter how banged up you are. And I noticed on your record that after you lost in May of 2013, I'm not trying to hark on the loss, I'm just noticing you took 7 months off until your next fight. But then from the end of 13 up till the summer of 2014, you fought 4 times within 7 months. So a lot of fighters like to stay active. I guess, why did you take such a long break after that loss? And then, because a lot of fighters want to get back in the ring right after they lose. And then why 4 fights in 7 months after that?
Yeah, that wasn't by choice. It wasn't 7 months by choice. It was, to be honest with you, it was a management choice, and that's why they're good at what they do. I wanted to fight the next week. I wanted to fight that night, to be honest with you. And they just they felt that, I just needed to take some time to really work on where they felt that I was lacking some skill. And so they just definitely gave me some time to work. And a lot of that too, I had trouble locating opponents at a certain time. And so, as you know, in the smaller promotions, sometimes it's tough to get an opponent right away. And so that was something that kind of added to it. But yeah, it was a management choice. They felt that I needed to take some time to really work on some things, and that's what happened.
They're ducking them.
Yeah.
Ducking and dodging.
I want to make sure, man, you didn't leave, you're out of the car now. You didn't leave your baby there, right?
Oh,
you got her?
Word.
You didn't forget, right?
No, she's good.
She's okay.
Just got your back like that,
Kamaru, I know that your goal is to be a UFC champion, and speaking of your fighting, obviously, what do you think you need to work on to attain that goal?
I need to work on everything. I think I'm just scratching the surface. I'm maybe 1/10 of what I could be and what I need to be. And so there's a lot of areas that I could improve on, but baby steps. And, you got to crawl before you can run. And so I'm definitely trying to get the fundamentals down so I'm able to make those huge jumps when the time's right.
Awesome.
Well, maybe the time will be right. On Tough Talk last night, you had some key words for Hayder. Are we hinting towards something here? The fans would love to see this fight.
I would.
I hope I get that fight.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I hope that fight happens.
What would?
Look at his face.
So what?
Yeah, you're tell, dude. I hope you don't play poker because we're watching you. You're grabbing for your hat. You got that little. You got that Kool-Aid smile that's like, I know something you don't know.
Oh my god.
I know nothing.
Yeah, okay.
So you see some holes in Hayder's game, huh?
Yeah, just like I mentioned, this is not a knock on him. He does what he does, and he does it pretty well. Obviously, he's been the only successful one for their team. And he's a tough guy. I give him that. He's very tough. He comes to fight. But if you watch the fights, this is mixed martial arts. This is MMA. What other skills has he shown besides throwing hands?
Those talking skills of his.
He hasn't taken anybody down. He's been taken down. He hasn't thrown one elbow. He's thrown one kick. I've done it all. I've thrown elbows. I've thrown knees. I've thrown kicks. I've taken guys down. I've done it all. So, those are definitely holes. Like, if you can't evolve with MMA, like when I'm hitting you with kicks and knees and elbows and you're just trying to throw hands the whole time, like, come on now, like something's going to hurt.
No, that's the one thing that I remember. I think we were all talking about it in the screening room, was that watching your fight, I like the fact that you use every single part of your body when you're fighting. Like, the one thing I noticed that I've done myself, but I've also gotten in trouble, like at my dojo for it, is stomping on toes during the fight. Like, I think that's awesome. And the fact that you're using your shoulder and you're using everything else like that, I think that's so great. And as an MMA fighter, that's what you're supposed to do. So I think
the weapons available to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's brilliant, to be honest.
Jay, you look like you were about to say something.
Sorry, yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's something that you have to be able to do. It's mixed martial arts, so you have to be able to mix it up on guys. And something that I do to keep guys always guessing. They're up against the cage. A lot of guys like to rest against the cage and just kind of catch their breath. But when you're up against the cage and I stomp your toes a couple of times, and I stomp them pretty hard. And so even in this last fight, you can watch, after about 3 stomps, he started picking his feet up. He wouldn't put them down anymore. And so when you're not putting your feet down, you're worried about your feet. You're not worried about the takedown that I'm about to hit. You're not worried about the shoulder that I'm about to hit you with, or the elbow that's coming. And so it's you got to utilize every tool to keep a guy off balance, and that's what I like to do in my fights.
I feel like with Tough, it's a bit of an anomaly. It's almost only just a calling card to seeing a fighter's skills. Now with Kamaru, we've seen that he's well-rounded in these 2-round fights, and obviously all these guys have some qualifications to get on the show, otherwise they wouldn't be there. So I think that you only see so much because it's such an anomaly, especially in that you're fighting so frequently. These are very irregular standards for guys to fight, leading up to a traditional fight. Obviously, we've seen, though, that Kamaru can thrive under this situation, and so the next step we'll see, knock on wood, to possibly
your head's made of wood?
That's the idea. There you go, man. There you go. To see him in a UFC fight, hopefully eventually, doesn't necessarily indicate that these guys, and Kamaru has talked about Steve Carl as a great example, that they shouldn't necessarily be in the UFC. Now, this season we haven't seen, it's not been an all-star roster of matches, to be sure. And who knows what's happened behind the scenes or that is left on the editing floor, etc. But there are unusual circumstances. So in that respect, I think it... I lost my train of thought here just briefly, but and that's why the head is made of wood. Which is to say, though, that obviously guys like Kamaru or Hayder have shown that they have assets to be there in the UFC and can bring it in the 3 5-minute rounds. And that's what I think. We've only seen so much with Hayder, but there is evidence to suggest that of the guys on this season, that he also is one of the more leading guys, along with Kamaru, to be in the UFC. Which I think is, to say it's more of which guys possibly could be, or which guys are at the top of that list. I mean to say,
Like get the first shots.
Yeah,
instead of just one.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Speaking really quick of the editing room floor, Kamaru, I know you mentioned to me the other day, but I'm going to ask you now. You said that a lot of funny moments from the season have been cut out.
Oh, no.
Can you share any of your favorite moments that come to mind, possibly, that the cameras haven't shown, but they did get?
Definitely. Our van rides. You guys only see barely any of that. Our van rides as a team to training and to the fights and to, oh my God, if you guys heard some of the conversation and just the different talks and accents that were in that van, you would die. I couldn't contain myself some of the times, and you wouldn't believe some of the things that some of these guys would say on that van. And they cut a lot of those out, and you guys didn't see it, but they only show in basically the character that they portray, they cut me as. They only show me being serious and focused and trying to get the job done. But at the same time, me and another one of my teammates, Carrington Banks, we basically sang and rapped the whole season.
Oh my gosh.
Sang, rapped, and danced the whole season. Every ride, almost every day.
You danced in the car. All right.
Yeah, you can rap. Wait, really quick. I'm going to put you on the spot. You mentioned accents, and I know that you can do many accents.
Is he gonna do an accent?
Give us one right now. Someone ask him a question, and you have to answer in the accent. Go for it, Jay. Ask him something.
Oh, jeez.
I'll just ask him, who would you like to fight currently in the UFC top 10 welterweights?
Yes.
There you go.
There you go. That's a good one.
And why? And how do you beat him?
Oh my gosh.
Top 10 in what weight division?
Welterweight.
Welterweight. Who would I like to fight?
And this is with an accent,
Yeah,
too.
you have to answer this question in an accent.
That is an accent. What do you mean?
You're so on the spot. You know you.
Let's see.
Canadian accent.
No. He's got better ones.
All right.
It doesn't matter. I would like to fight anybody. It doesn't matter. Anybody in the top 10 is, I think, will be a good match for me. I would fight anybody from number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't matter. I'll beat anybody. So put me up against them. I destroy them.
Amazing.
I love it.
Time many days. And I'll tell you what, there, partner. It doesn't matter. You can put me up against the number 1 guy, number 2, number 3. It doesn't matter. Any dang given day, I'll go on in there and I'll go and take him out.
I want to hear a Glenn accent.
Oh, so good. You know he can do it. He can do
Glenn
it.
doesn't have an accent.
Yeah, he kind of does.
Do an impression of Glenn.
Glenn doesn't have an accent.
You can do an
Or
impression.
a Dan Lambert one.
No. Give us the Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor promo. Go.
Conor McGregor. Let's see. I will obliterate the guy. I will obliterate him. He's too small. He's a little Brazilian. I'll obliterate the guy.
Oh my god.
It's like the real people.
It is like the real people.
I told you guys. Is that not amazing?
I love that.
You are a fool, dude.
That just made my day. I'm so happy.
Okay, here's a real zinger for you. You said you were rapping the whole time with Karen with Jet Set there.
Oh no.
So what were you spinning? Are these your own freestyles, or you taking old school verses?
We freestyled every day.
Yeah?
Mainly Carrington. He freestyled and I did the dance. I was the background dancer.
Because he wanted to be a backup dancer when he was younger.
Freestyled and I bust the move all the time.
Don't let the dream go away.
guy.
You can still be a background dancer.
I'll give you some lessons. I'll give you some lessons.
Jumps off on stage, I'll handle it.
Magic Mike 3.
Anybody else before we let him go and tend to his beautiful daughter?
From the live chat, Joseph Boza
He's
said.
just watching us right now.
Joseph Boza said, I would feel so sorry for the UFC I'm going to say that's a translator or transitor every time if Kamaru answered a question in his language if he just did it for you guys. Like if he just changed his accent for every single question.
Which is to say, please do it. Please.
Yeah, that could be like his
awesome
gimmick. That could be
idea.
his gimmick.
Absolutely.
I think it'd be really funny.
You know what? I'll make a promise to you guys. I win the title eventually in the future. I will answer every question after that in a different accent.
You guys
God.
amazing.
Exclusive.
On the Afterbuzz
forever.
TV exclusive.
Yes.
We love it. Any final questions for Kamaru, guys?
Would you do? What advice would you give to any fighter that might be going in for the next season?
For the next season, it's just be yourself. Just be true to yourself, and if you're genuinely a good person, it's gonna shine through. And if you're not, it's gonna shine through as well. So just being yourself. When you try to fake it, it's very easy for them to twist that up, and you look like a fool when you do that.
I love it.
Well said.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm curious. I was reading your cap here, and it's a little bit harder to see on these monitors for some reason. At first, I thought it said bling bling, but was it Black Villains? Black
Zilians. The Z is hard to
Black
read.
Zilians. Oh, the Z. Okay.
The Z looks like an 8.
Black Zillion. Okay. That's dope. I was gonna say give a shout to your sponsor, but we just big up your team there. So
Biggest sponsor of all.
got that right.
If you became big time in the UFC, when you become big time in the UFC, would you ever consider the WWE?
Of course, if they pay me enough, come on.
What would be your gimmick? What would be your gimmick?
It's about taking care of myself for the future. So,
Yo, you
if they
think
pay me enough, 100%, I will wrestle.
you think Dana is gonna let him do part-time back and forth between MMA and pro
He
wrestling?
could just leave. You could become the next Kurt Angle, or in that
If I got
regard.
big enough, 100%.
Yeah, I dare you to do that. Yes, win the title and then leave for pro wrestling.
And then bring the title with you and dump it in the garbage.
See how well that goes over with the brass.
God, okay.
I would support you.
Kamaru, thank you so much for taking time, especially I know you're with your family right now, so we certainly appreciate the time that you've given us this week.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening and good luck the rest of the season.
Shout out to your little one there, man.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Talk to you later. Bye. Oh, that was so much fun. That was
crazy.
How great are those accents?
Oh, I lost it.
I was with him before we did our spotlight on, and he was ordering. I gave him the phone to order food, and he full on did an accent, like the whole
geez. Which
thing,
one
and
was
I didn't
it?
even know it was coming. So I was like, "That's hilarious."
Which one was it? Did he give
It
you?
was a country, big,
nice.
strong redneck.
That's one of his
accent.
strong ones, I think. It's a stronger one.
It was really good.
And people are going to believe that here in California.
Also,
Because they're not hearing that. So I was like,
you the
it's a
actors?
twang? It must be a twang.
it must be a
redneck.
twang.
I hope he wins in the UFC and he really does bust out an accent and just kind of mixes it up
amazing.
every post-fight interview.
I think it'd be so funny.
Yeah.
Thank you,
People-
Joseph, for
Yeah,
putting
good
that up
call.
there.
Yeah.
He'd get a lot of fans for doing that.
You know, and that's the funny thing here is, I gotta say, the drama in each hour, the past several episodes, or a lot of the season, I feel like they were, at one point, the editing was trying to play up the storyline of Glenn versus Dan. And also kind of get that feud going, just team versus team and fighters. But when you let them just let their hair down, even though Kamaru doesn't have any hair, but, you know,
None of the
let
Black
his
Zilians.
accents go. Yeah. But there's so much more to know and to enjoy of these guys.
Yeah.
Just letting them take the ball and run with it, which unfortunately we don't see, at least in so much in this season.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was such a goofball.
Exactly.
Well, he and I were discussing that because he said after Tough Talk he mentioned something, and hopefully this is okay to share to the Fox producers. Why'd you guys cut out all the? There's so much fun stuff. That's why I asked him about it, and they just said they just didn't have the time. And however, we've said this all season. It would be nice to see some of those fun things because some of the season is a lot of it has been kind of
More personality.
boring.
Well, yeah, because I
Less
feel
Bud
like
Light.
there you go. I just feel like their conversations and everything, like at breakfast and stuff. I feel like it's kind of super, not scripted, but it feels super like rehearsed. Okay, you're gonna say this. I'm gonna throw these Bud Light cans right there, and then just go. Like that's what it feels like.
A little serious tone.
Yeah.
A little too serious of a tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shared, he was talking about Carrington Banks, and he shared with me the kind of personality he actually has, and I was like, really? That he's like super reggae, relaxed, chill dude, and we haven't gotten that vibe at all.
No.
I've not seen that at all, and that's unfortunate. To see his personality, and we obviously got to see Kamaru's personality tonight.
Well, hopefully, if they get to the UFC, some of these guys, they'll put forth their personalities, and whenever they pump up a fight, you see more of who they are, so it can be kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be. Well, anyway, to wrap up the episode, though, it's 300 to 100 now.
I know. It's
Win or
crazy.
lose now.
Yeah.
Win or
pretty
lose,
much.
yeah.
No tie.
ATT's got to win next week, but in the way that it's being produced, it doesn't look like they're going to.
That you don't think that ATT is going to win?
No,
Really?
I also think that Black Zilians are going to win.
They're cutting it and producing it and showing it to us to make us think.
Oh wait, the Black Zilians
I think
are
the Black
going to
Zilians are
continue
gonna win.
winning.
Yeah.
I think
I think
would
ATT
disagree
comes out and wins
completely.
next week. I think ATT comes out and wins the next 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
For the drama.
Yeah,
Right.
of course.
And then you've got a tie match going into the last week.
That's my question.
You know what? That makes sense. Yeah.
That's my question that I was going to ask the panel, and then I was going to throw him on the spot too, because I think that the preview indicates that ATT starts going on a roll, and
did.
Glenn gets frustrated because if they win one match, I can't see him getting frustrated and throwing a fit like he does, like you see the clips. So that would lead me to think that they win 2 in a row, and he starts to feel threatened that they're catching up.
Well, because
But are they swerving us?
That's
Is
no,
what I'm wondering.
100%. I think it's being produced to make
Okay.
us feel that way because that's what reality TV is.
I mean,
that's what they do.
I would like it to be a tie before the last fight, just because it would just make it more exciting.
Sure.
Obviously,
Sure.
I just feel like it would suck if it was like, oh, Black Zilians won the next
Yeah.
two.
They have to.
Yeah.
You know,
Because if the Black Zilians win the next one, then the entire season is won, and you've still got 2 weeks to go.
And then you send fighters out there for exhibitions that they could get
exactly.
their, they could
Who's
get
going to want
kicked.
to fight? You're going to show up at weigh-ins, be like, okay, fighter, come on out, and nobody will move.
Yep.
Yeah.
Other side, come on out, nobody will move.
They're going to win 2 in a row.
This is what I'm
okay,
saying.
I
Yes.
disagree. We'll see who's right.
I think maybe 3. And then you go tie going into the finals.
This is going to continue
Oh,
after
there's
the
only
show.
3
I
left.
have a
isn't there?
feeling.
Oh, then the fight. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you all so
Sorry,
much for
mumbling.
tuning in with us today. Before you guys give out your Twitter handles and where we can find you on social media. If you don't know where to find us, besides AfterbuzzTV.com, you can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube.
Yes.
And this will be up shortly as well. Alexis, where can we find you?
You can find me all over the interwebs as atorres890. Also find my, if you like the sound of my voice or look at my face, find me at BlackHollywoodLive.com, our sister network for Geek Nerd Tech, where I talk about video games and all that awesome stuff. Really appreciate it.
Love it. Jay?
Guys, don't bother finding me. Go find Tough Daria. TOUGHDARIA.
Jersey Devil.
Hashtag Jersey Devil Takeover. Our girl, our AfterBuzz co-host Daria Baronato on Tough Enough made the cast. Tune into USA Network on Tuesdays. Doesn't conflict with UFC programming. To see how far our girl goes. Otherwise,
awesome.
I'm somewhere on the internet as well.
Awesome.
I'm excited for that show. But you can find me at Gilkerson Radio on Twitter. I'll probably be talking about UFC and a little bit of Tough Enough.
Nice.
Awesome. And I'm at Suri Serano on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope. Thank you all again so very much for tuning in with us. And thank you again also, Kamaru Usman, for being on the show this week. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks again.
Bang.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Afterbuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the Afterbuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of Afterbuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.